Welcome to Video Rental, your retro movie hub. Join us as we rewind through the iconic films of the 70s, 80s, and the occasional 90s gems. From cult classics to blockbuster hits and even some infamous flops. We're covering it all. So grab some popcorn, get cozy, and let's dive into the wonderful world of retro cinema together. Doug, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Dougie, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Good, yeah. We've got the spawn of Satan here with us, Dougie.
That's right.
He is our co-host, Doug's son. He's here for his first episode.
Yeah. Glad to be here.
Good. All right, so today we are reviewing or going over Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn. Doug, when was the first time you watched Evil Dead 2?
I'd say it's probably in the maybe early 90s. It was
Yeah.
early 90s back in the last time I saw it. And I hadn't watched it again. Just pieces here and there
Yeah.
until I watched it again recently.
Dougie?
Thursday. Yeah. First time.
So this is your first time. All right. My first time, I couldn't even tell you, honestly. I mean, it was probably the early to mid 90s. I first saw it on VHS. It was the first time I saw it. I don't even know. I've seen it so many times. I really couldn't even tell you when I exactly have seen it. I've seen this movie 100 times probably.
I was looking for one of your ashes. I see the third one, but I thought you had one from part 2.
No, I still haven't acquired Ash from part 2 yet.
It's in the works.
It's in the works. I do have my Evil Dead 2 Dead by Dawn.
Oh, yeah. I see the Necronomicon.
Necronomicon, and then the steel box is sitting right behind it.
Yeah.
Clearly, I'm a big fan of it.
He's summoning things in there. At least.
Sometimes, maybe.
Mustn't read from the book.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and read the plot. So Ash Williams, the lone survivor of an earlier onslaught of flesh-possessing spirits, holds up in a cabin with a group of strangers while the demons continue their attack.
Yeah, that's about it.
Okay. I was thinking about it.
It was just very simple.
It's very simple.
Plot.
All right, so I'm going to read some vitals about the movie. So the movie came out March 13th, 1987. How old were you, Doug, in 87?
87, I was 12.
12. I was, not even one yet. And March 13th. Dougie, you weren't here.
Yeah.
It's got a IMDb rating of a 7.7, which is pretty good. And Doug, I will tell you, the tomato meter and the IMDb score did go down since BMR reviewed it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I figured it would go up with them guys because they liked it.
Well, I think it's probably just other people's gave it a crappy review, I guess. I don't know. That's
all these negative people.
Yeah.
Work.
So the tomato meter, it's got a critic score of 88%, which is still good.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I'm pretty sure it was like a 90% when Bad Movies Rule reviewed it.
That's crazy for a critic score.
Yeah. Audience score, 89%. It's got a budget of $3.6 million. And the box office, unfortunately, this movie did bomb. Only brought in $5.9 million.
They're still riding all the money they made off the first one.
Well, yeah. But the thing with this movie is it got a huge cult following, pretty much. I mean, this movie is shown year round in certain states, and I mean, it probably made money on the DVD sales and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I'd say.
And Dougie, I don't know if you know this, but when you see the box office, you take half of that money, and that's how much the movie is actually made.
Yeah, the old timer over here told me that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's got a runtime of an hour and 24 minutes, which honestly I think it's perfect. I think that's for a horror movie. You don't need it to be long.
Stretched out any longer than that.
No.
It's good time.
No, it just gets to it, and I think it's perfect. So the cast, it's got Bruce Campbell, and he's pretty much known for the Evil Dead series, Army of Darkness. He's got some others, Bubba Hotep, Ash vs. Evil Dead, and Burn Notice. And I don't know did you guys ever watch Burn Notice?
I saw a couple episodes with him in
it was so good. That was because of Burn Notice, that was the reason I went to my first comic book convention, because of Beth.
Really?
She watched Burn Notice with me, and I was like, "Hey, do you want to go see Bruce Campbell? He's gonna be there." I was like, "Yeah, let's go see him." And she's like, "All right," and it was up in Philadelphia.
So you did a little rope-a-dope on her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because otherwise, she would have said no. No, I'm not going to a comic book.
You want to go see the guy from Evil Dead? No.
It's also got Sarah Berry, which this was her one and only movie. That's the main girl. What's her name? You know, the daughter of the.
Oh yeah.
That's her.
Yeah.
She literally, I think she did like one TV movie after that and then never acted again. She just
disappeared.
Just disappeared. Yeah.
Evil Dead ruined her life.
Well, that's not the first time I've heard that.
Carrying the demons with her.
Yeah, I think so.
She looks familiar though. I guess she's got that kind of face, that 80s look.
I thought she did more, but then when I was doing all this stuff, nothing. Nothing. It's also has, which this movie does not have a lot of recognizable people. There's a couple, but
there's only like 7 people in it.
Pretty much, yeah. It's got Dan Hicks, and Dan Hicks is played Bobby Joe's boyfriend. What is it, Jake? He played Jake. Well, he actually had a pretty decent career. He went on to do a movie called Maniac Cop, which also had Bruce Campbell in it. Darkman, and Spider-Man 2. Actually, Darkman, Sam Raimi, same guy that did this movie, and Spider-Man 2 is Sam Raimi.
I remember watching that Maniac Cop when I was younger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also got Cassie Wesley DePavia.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
She is mostly known for doing soap operas. She's done, I looked it up, she's done over 1,300 episodes of soap, between 3 or 4 different soap operas.
Okay, so when I was watching this, and my wife, glanced up the few times she wasn't laughing at me, she recognized her instantly.
Yeah,
from daytime TV.
Yeah, she was. The biggest thing she did was One Life to Live. She was in 870 episodes.
Oh, is that all? Oh,
yeah. She was in Days of Our Lives, 381 episodes. And then back in the 80s, actually, while she was filming this, she was on Guiding Light with 86 episodes. And Doug, didn't you say she's on General Hospital now? Or she was?
I mean, well, okay. I have no idea what the names of all these daytime TV shows. They all kind of run together. So she was on one of those. One of them, yeah.
But yeah, that's been her biggest career, was doing.
I'm sure my wife Samantha could tell you exactly her entire history.
Yeah, she's watched all 600 something.
600.
Yeah.
Probably twice.
Yeah.
We also have Ted Raimi, which he is the brother of Sam Raimi, the director.
Mm-hmm.
You'll know him as Henrietta. That was Ted Raimi as Henrietta. He's known. He's had a really good career as well. He's known in Xena, Warrior Princess, Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3, and also Darkman. So he's actually had a very good TV career throughout. He's
to his brother. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's still
along. Yeah.
Yeah, he's still going. We also have Denise Bixler, which she is another one that did nothing after this. This was a one and done job, I guess. We also have Richard Damier. He was in Teen Wolf and Die Hard 2.
All right. So he got one holiday movie in.
Yeah, he got a few of them.
Yeah.
All right, so we got screenplay by Sam Raimi, and he's pretty much well known for Ash vs. Evil Dead, Army of Darkness, Darkman, Evil Dead, and Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3.
I mean, Bruce Campbell had a massive influence on these movies too, right?
Yeah,
He helped them put them all together.
yeah. I mean, they were best friends out of high school. Like all these guys that made the first one, they were all best friends, and then they just went on to do the other ones as well. We also have also screenplay by Scott Spiegel, and he didn't do too much, and he's done things here and there, but the biggest thing was The Rookie, Clint Eastwood, The Rookie.
Oh, the movie.
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking of the TV show for a minute.
Yeah. He wrote the screenplay for The Rookie.
It's another good movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in forever, like forever.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
That was prime
The only way I remember
cocaine and pre-workout Charlie Sheen there.
the only way I remember it was because of BMR, because they did it, right? Didn't they do it, or am I thinking?
Did they do The Rookie? They have brought it up. I don't remember if I did an episode.
Unless I'm thinking of Confused Breakfast. I don't know. I get my podcast
You're
mixed
making
up.
James roll over in his chair. Whoa, my ears are burning.
So we got produced by Bruce Campbell, Alex D. Bentidetti? I don't know.
Yeah.
Irvin Shapiro, Rob Tappert. And we got music by Joseph LaDuca, and he's known for a ton of things as well, for Evil Dead, Army of Darkness, the Chucky TV series, Hercules, Xena, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, the 2002 cartoon. It was a remake.
Oh, yeah.
The show Leverage, and he's also known for the Evil Dead video games. So he's kind of stuck close to Sam Raimi with a lot of his stuff, and Bruce Campbell.
I never played any of the games.
Oh, the PS2 ones were great. I mean, the new ones is good, but it's like kind of an open world.
I haven't played any of the old ones, but
Oh.
the new ones I have played.
The old ones are great. Like you actually went on missions, and like it was great. So filming location, Wilmington and Wadesboro, North Carolina, which we've said in the past, we're here out of Candler, North Carolina, so that's pretty close to us.
You can take a field trip, see that cabin?
Well, this one, there was no cabin. I mean, it's gone. There's nothing there. They just built an outside of it and then took it once they got
You can
done.
always just go stand in the spots.
You could, if you could find it. There's probably really no.
I'm sure there's
way to
something
find it.
there. Somebody's put something there.
The cross is still on the ground.
Well, because pretty much the insides were filmed on a stage. Like they built a full on cabin in a gymnasium.
Well, from the outside, it was only a one-room cabin, but inside, it was like a three-story house.
I know. It was
Secret
also
tunnels and all.
yeah. Also, they probably did all the inside stuff in Detroit, Michigan. That was the other, because they're from Detroit. They're all from Detroit.
Hometown.
Yeah. Directed by Sam Raimi, in which he's known for Evil Dead, Army of Darkness, Darkman, The Quick and the Dead, Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3, and Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which I haven't seen Doctor Strange since it came out, and I don't know if it would hold up.
It's been a while.
With the multiverse?
Yeah, I liked it when it first
Yeah, I
came
liked
out,
it.
but it's just I haven't gone back to it.
It was one of those you had to see others and the way they tied them all together.
Yeah.
More of a one and done kind of deal.
All right, Doug, you want to? I'm done with the vitals. You want to read us some
Sure.
reviews?
See what some of these people think here. And of course, we're starting off with one that's not stellar, but from 2023. That's why. Okay. This guy gave it a 1 of 10. It's not the original. Serrato of Steel. Okay, yeah. That's a good screen name. Yeah. March 24th, 2023. I may be in the minority here, and that's okay, but this movie pales in comparison to the original. It seems like the director was trying to make a low-budget B horror movie. Well, you're about right, dude.
Exactly.
But instead they ended up with something that can't even compare to the first movie. The original Evil Dead was excellent, but this one cannot live up to it. Rather than delivering on both the funny and the scary aspects of this movie, fails at both. If you haven't seen the original, this might be entertaining, but I still wouldn't recommend it. This movie is the epitome of a setup movie connecting to the story from Evil Dead to Army of Darkness. But it does do so in an unsatisfying way. Don't waste your time. Rent and watch the first one, but leave this one alone. I think you got some feelings about that one, Nathan.
Yeah.
That probably hurt to type this one out.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that at all.
Well, I mean, the way they set this movie up, it's almost like rewatching part one, and it turns right into part two. They just tied it all together. I don't know. I don't get that.
And I will tell you, there is a reason why that is, of why it's like part one.
Okay, well, let's get into it. Get in the weeds.
We'll get to it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. Let's hear this next one. This guy liked it. 8 out of 10. Groovy. This is from 2013. Kinetic Soul. This one actually surpasses the original in just about every way. Out of the Evil Dead trilogy, most people refer to the Evil Dead 2 for a reason. 2 is basically what makes this trilogy stand out. This is probably the film that made Ash an iconic figure in the horror genre and probably made the chainsaw the iconic horror weapon. It is more crazy and humorous than before and has way more supernatural elements going on. In fact, this time the whole cabin looks like it's been possessed. Bruce Campbell again plays Ash, but he now feels like a trademark character in the genre. His facial expressions and his crazy laugh are a classic. Everything is just more humorous this time around in a good way. It has many innovative elements, which adds to the originality from the first. This one is a classic for a reason and shouldn't be missed out on, especially if you're into the horror genre. That's fair. That's fair.
I definitely agree with that. The way I look at it when it comes to the first one versus the second one, the first one was they did what they could with their budget. Because their budget was $500,000. It was nothing. So they did what they could.
Yeah.
So this one, they had a bigger budget. What did I say? It was like $3.5 million.
Yeah.
And Sam Raimi did what he wanted to do in the first one. This is what he wanted to do.
Yeah. So that's why they revisited so much of the first one and this one.
Yeah.
4 out of 10. Don't waste your time. Huggy Bear. It's not getting a hug from any of us. From 2003. I'll keep this short and sweet. If you are a true horror fan, don't waste your time nor money on this sequel. The first Evil Dead is a classic. This sequel was, well, like watching Married with Children. Horror mixed with humor does not work. Really?
Yes, it does. It does.
The wasted time in this flick on the possessed hand that he can't escape from is too much. Definitely not a horror movie. I thought that was hilarious.
I don't know how you could not see this as a horror movie. I mean, there's so much just blood and so much different types of blood in this movie.
Yeah, okay. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
Okay. 10 out of 10. An electrifying roller coaster ride of a movie from G.M. Hutchins in 2001. What I think this is funny that, all these reviews here are in the aughts, the 2000s. These people are still all over the place about it. So that says something about the movie right there. Mm-hmm. Movie film that far back. This film is without a shadow of a doubt one of the finest, most imaginative comedy horror films ever made. Raimi has put all the aspects of the film together in a masterful fashion. The camera work and the sound effects are pulsating. And the timing is perfection. And Bruce Campbell, the film as a lead actor who gives an exceptional performance. Campbell plays Ash every day, supermarket attendant who suddenly finds himself thrown into the unusual situation of having to defend himself against zombies, evil spirits, and even his own possessed hand, just in order to survive the night. I laughed, I gasped, I gripped at the arm of my chair throughout. If you like your comedies black and hilarious, and your horror gory and sensational, then look no further. Raimi has created a definitive comedy horror. Fantastic.
That's a good description.
That's a very good description. Yeah, I like that a lot. That's it's one thing about this movie that people that have never seen it, you can't go into this movie like a typical horror movie. It's meant to be a comedy. If you go into it with just a dead serious horror movie, then you're gonna hate this movie.
See, now I was told that before I watched this movie. So I went into it with a different mindset because, it's not going to be some horror movie from 2020s, whatever. But as I watched it, I told him that this was like so corny and well put together that it's good.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way it's meant to be depicted, honestly.
Yeah. You hear that from the new generation right there.
Yeah. I'm 18, by the way.
All right, what does Roger Ebert
Let's
have
see
to
what
say?
Roger Ebert has to say. We always finish up on one of Roger Ebert's here. Evil Dead 2: Dead by Dawn is a comedy disguised as a blood-soaked shockorama. It looks superficially like a routine horror movie with a vomitorium designed to separate callow teenagers from their lunch. But look closer and you realize that the movie is fairly sophisticated satire level. 1 viewers will say it's in bad taste. Level 2 folks like myself will perceive that it is about bad taste if nauseating images of horrific gore are not, as they say, your cup of tea. The odds are good you will not have a great time during this movie. On the other hand, if you know that it's all special effects and if you've seen a lot of other movies that have a sense of humor, you might have a great time. Evil Dead 2, I did up to a point. The movie devours ideas such as prodigious rate, at such a prodigious rate that it begins to repeat itself toward the end. But the first 45 minutes have kind of a manic-inspired genius to them. I'm not suggesting that Evil Dead 2 is fun merely because you can spot the references to other movies. It is because the violence and the gore are carried to such an extreme that they stop being disgusting and become surrealistic. The movie timing aims for comedy, but shocks and the grubby low-budget intensity of the film gives it a lovable quality and the high-tech movies wouldn't have. There is one shot from the film that's some kind of masterpiece. There is a force out in there in the woods. We never see it, but we see things from its point of view. In one long and very complex, unbroken point of view shot, this force roars through the woods, flattens everything, crashes through the cabin door, and roars through the room with an invincible savagery, chasing the hero until, but I won't dream of giving away the joke. 3 out of 4 stars.
Which I was kind of shocked at that he gave that 3 out of 4 stars.
Back on what you were saying, people who want a horror movie to be a horror movie, but they want to watch Evil Dead Rise, go watch the new one. Or Evil Dead. You go watch Evil Dead Rise. Yeah. Because that one, I've watched it, and that's more of like a new horror movie. It's not a comedy-based movie that has the corny aspects to it. It is just like a gory horror movie.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's great. I've watched. I watched it when it first came out, and then I've seen it at least a couple times, and
I haven't seen
it. It's great. I mean, it's disgusting. There's
so
much blood in it.
They got Newton budget on that.
Yeah, that's Doug. You got to watch it.
But it also has a lot of references to the first one, like the veins in the elevator.
Mm-hmm.
Vines.
Vines.
Oh, I said veins, but yeah. The vines in the elevator, the book, all of that. It's just
no. It was great. I was actually pretty pleased on how good it really was, and it did really well. Like I was telling Doug, I think it cost like $70 million to make or something, and it made like $300 million or something like that.
Yeah,
I mean, it did really well,
and it didn't have Bruce in it though.
It does connect to all the other ones though.
Yeah,
I will tell you.
Is his car in it somewhere? Is the Oldsmobile in it? No. Neither one of the stars made an appearance. Okay.
That you know of.
Okay, that's true. I have no idea.
All right. Thanks, Doug. let's move on to our scene. So, all right. So, scene 1. The movie opens with the origin story of the Necronomicon, the Book of the Dead. Ash Williams unleashes a demonic presence at a secluded cabin, possessing his girlfriend Linda and forcing Ash to kill her. Ash is then possessed, but freed by sunlight. Trapped by a destroyed bridge, Ash flees to the cabin's cellar to escape the demon force. A plane lands. We meet Annie and Ed, daughter of Professor Noby, on their way to the cabin.
All right. Okay.
What?
Ash's kill of Linda is just amazing.
With the shovel? Yes.
The curved shovel, he got a perfectly clean cut across her head. It's perfect.
Yeah. Well, and it also in that scene, you can actually see somebody roll the head. I don't know if you caught that. But when her head rolls down the hill there, you can, just for 1 second, you can see somebody roll the head down the hill. It's so funny.
Bowling with Linda.
And clearly it is a dummy when her head gets chopped off. But that's just for me, that's just the appeal of this movie.
Well, they got a strike there. I mean, that was perfect. And his facial expression as he does it too.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
great.
Like Dougie said, that when he kills her with a shovel, and I told you about, I completely had forgotten that he got possessed right at the very beginning.
Yeah.
And it was just the sunlight that freed. I mean, his acting and the way he over what's the word I'm looking for? He's like
William Shatner's it.
Yeah, over exaggerates everything, like, with his body. Very Jim Carrey-esque, his comedy, his
eyebrow raises every 2 seconds.
Oh,
yeah. And that jawline,
That's what he's known for, is his jawline.
Yeah.
His chin.
And it was awesome.
Well, and see, Doug, I was telling you about this, that the scene after he kills Linda and buries her, and it's so funny because he finds a pile of, literally, it's like rocks he buries her in.
And uses a shovel to
bury
her with.
Yeah.
Yeah, same shovel he killed her with.
And the scene where, he gets attacked and he starts flying through the air, how they did that scene is he was actually strapped to a board and he actually was spinning. They actually spun him and then they kind of just sped it up. But that was real. He actually had him attached. They said they put a board in his shirt and had him just spinning all over the place.
I don't know how. Did he? You read the book. Did he get any injuries during the
all
film?
The time. All the time. Yeah.
I mean, because when he sends it, when he hits the tree or just he gets thrown down the stairs. I mean, the dude
stuff that would kill
took a beating.
Person.
Yeah.
Well, I think if I remember right, I want to say he might have broke his foot in one of the scenes or something like that. But yeah, no, I think that's one of the things I respect about this movie so much. Even the first one, is they definitely put their blood, sweat, and tears into this movie. I mean, yes, it's low budget, but they put everything they had.
They had to earn it.
Movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, you got to really read Bruce Campbell's book. It's called If Chins Could Kill, The Confessions of a B-Movie Actor, which is great. I've read it 2 or 3 times. But they had to go through so much, even for this second one. They had to go through so much more with the first one, but for the second one, they had to go through so much just to get funding for this movie. Also, in that scene where he's flying through the air, and Doug, I've told you this. Mm-hmm. Dougie, I know you haven't seen the first Evil Dead movie, but the first Evil Dead movie ends with Bruce is the last survivor, and he's walking outside, and all of a sudden the demonic presence, because they light the book on fire in the first one, and so he does, and he thinks that kills it, but it doesn't. So the demonic presence comes out of the cabin and attacks him, and the camera goes into his mouth like he's getting attacked, and then that's the end of the movie. Well, Bruce Campbell, he said that you can actually literally connect the movies. You could take that scene and connect it with that scene when he gets attacked in Evil Dead 2, and it'll be one long movie. So that way it actually makes sense as a whole thing.
Right.
And the reason, okay, I will tell you now, the reason it's pretty much refilmed Evil Dead 1 is because when they wanted to do a sequel, they didn't have the rights to the first one. So they had to completely refilm the movie over again.
Kind of like the way Sony's doing.
Well, yeah.
Okay, that's another day.
But yeah, that's the reason it's almost like it's just like a remake from the first one.
Yeah, but it's a good thing it turned out that way because then you wouldn't have an iconic film that you have today.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Dougie, you should definitely watch the first one. The first one is dead serious. There's nothing funny about it. Like you'll probably laugh about it, but it's just a serious horror, blood disgusting. I mean, there's one scene where one of the girls gets possessed and she takes a pencil and stabs it in another girl's ankle. And I mean, it's kind
of like the cheese grater scene from the
new
one.
Yeah. But the first one's good. It's definitely a lot lower budget than this one, of course, but it's good. Did you guys notice the bridge was the destroyed bridge?
Dude, I was gonna say that was such like a cardboard cutout.
It was a miniature. That was just a.
And they just kept zooming to it. He's like, "Oh, you can't go this way," and he pulls the headlights on.
Yeah,
it was okay.
It was a total miniature. That's all that was.
There's certain points in the movie where you can tell like certain scenes with just like it painting on the cabin on the outside.
Yeah,
that was just a small set.
Yeah.
They just had like little clay figures or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did what they could, and the whole. Well, we haven't got there yet, but
the bridge also just looked goofy after it got pulled apart. I mean, it's just like it looked like it had its own fingers.
Well, I think that was the point. It was supposed to have been like a hand, like a demonic hand coming up or something like that.
Yeah, like so. Oh, you ain't going nowhere.
But when Bruce yells after he realizes the bridge is out, the cliffs don't match up, which I always thought was so funny. Where he's at is right here is like, right level with him, but then the other edge is like 12 feet up in the air.
But when they show him first driving over, it's like a perfect.
Yeah, it's a perfect.
It's like a train crossing. It's like perfectly flat. Yeah.
The guy that plays Ed, the blonde one that got off the plane with Annie. The only thing that I know him from is this was probably either in the late 90s, maybe early 2000s, when cable was still pretty much a thing.
Right.
Flipping through channels, he worked on the Home Shopping Network. I was just flipping through and just flipped it on there.
Was he like selling shampoo or something?
Well, he was like a host. He just sold everything on there. I was like, that guy's an Evil Dead too.
And now he's selling stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he didn't really have much of a movie career. He did a few things, but not really much. But then, of course, we got Annie. She's the daughter of Nobi. They bring some pages. They have pages from the book.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I just think it's funny because they're just really focusing on those pages. And why were those pages missing from the book in the first place? They were
like who took them out and
never
went somewhere else.
They don't explain it. No,
told anybody.
These were supposedly the pages to stop the evil.
Yeah. Well, okay. So when Ash, okay, so that scene, I'm trying to remember parts from the book that Bruce Campbell talks about from the movie. The scene where he's driving back down the trail and the demonic presence is running after him. Well, he goes through the windshield, which it's not him going through the windshield. I don't know if you can really tell. It's a dummy. But then he runs into the cabin. Well, where the cellar was not there because I told you they built a fake cabin on the grounds and they literally just dug a 4 or 5 feet or 4 or 5 foot hole so he could just crouch down in it. So that actually wasn't there. And then the scenes in the cellar they filmed on a stage back in like Michigan or whatever.
You mean when he hit the big stump in the road and booms out? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if for it being an 80s movie, they did a great job of hiding this stuff because even like we were talking about where they roll Linda's head down the hill.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't notice stuff like that.
Well, I'm going to have to let you, I'll let you guys borrow it. But on that DVD, I've had that DVD for 25 years, but it has the commentary on it and it has Bruce Campbell, Sam Raimi, Ted Raimi, and I think Scott Spiegel on there. They're all literally just sitting there ripping the movie apart, just talking about it, just making fun of it. And it's like it enhances the movie so much more for me when I'm sitting there watching it with the commentary. Doug, you brought this up the other day. So, Dougie, do you remember that scene where he's in the water and the bubbles are coming when he gets possessed?
Yeah.
Well, that scene, he almost drowned in that puddle because the director's like, all right, hold it. And there's some behind the scenes stuff like on that DVD. You can see him holding it, and he almost drowned.
He was committed.
He was committed.
Staying in that hole.
And then he comes up. Well, when the sun comes up and the demon goes out of him, Doug, you pointed this out. The eyeball where the milky stuff goes out of his eye. Mm-hmm. That eye was about the size of a basketball. It was huge. That was a full big scale because that way they built it and then they could just pump like some milk into the eye and make it go glazed.
I mean, that was a very good way of showing a demonic possession.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, when you think of somebody who's got a demon in them, you think of either black or white eyes.
Yeah, yeah.
It was perfect.
Oh, and also their contact lenses, they couldn't see through them. They were thick glass contact lenses.
Oh yeah, this was way before they had computers. You just click a button and gloss somebody's eye.
Yeah.
He actually had to put that crap in his eye.
Yeah, it was glass. Like they said, it was even for the ones in the first one were worse than the second one, but in this one they were just glass and they could not see. So when anybody's walking, they have to memorize where they're walking and stuff because they cannot see at all.
You almost can tell by the expression, even with the makeup on. He's like,
yeah,
I can't see where I'm going.
They did a good job with the effect. Well, not only the effects, but like the makeup aspect of Ash in the movie, especially when he's possessed. I think it looked really good.
Well, the makeup company, which they weren't a company I think they were a company, but the K&B makeup company are the ones that do Walking Dead now. And I can
see that. It's similar.
So this was their infancy.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
practical effects are always going on.
Yeah, they went on to do amazing things, but that's like the latest thing they're doing is same guy that was doing the makeup. He does. I'm trying to think of his name. He's got like long hair. He's been in the show as a zombie a few times, but I can't think of his name. But they went on to do major stuff. Let's move on to scene 2. Ash's calm is shattered when Linda reanimates and pursues him. The cabin plays tricks on his mind, and his hand becomes possessed after being bitten by Linda. Ash severs his hand with a chainsaw. Annie, Ed, Jake, and Bobby Joe arrive, but Ash accidentally shoots Bobby Joe. Jake and Ed attack Ash, knocking him out and throwing him into the cellar. Annie turns the recorder on, and Ash faces Henrietta. Annie's reanimated mother. I don't know why I said it like that. Ash barely fends her off, locking the cellar door just in time.
Oh boy, there's a lot to talk about in
this.
Yeah,
well, go ahead, Dougie. I mean,
kick it off.
As soon as Linda comes back, I mean, Ash he falls apart.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so like dramatized. It's like it's insane. Like it.
Well, they're really messing with him. I mean, I really do think he does start to go crazy in this movie. Like this cabin really messes with him. I mean, there's one scene, I don't know if we're just there yet, but I'll go ahead and say it, is where he's got his shotgun, and I think he still has the stump. I don't think he's just got the shotgun
sitting in the rocker.
No, he's standing up, but the pieces are like messing with him because they're all like laughing, and he starts bouncing up and down, copying them because he's going crazy. They're messing with him so much.
Then he has that crazy laugh.
Yeah.
His fight with his hand.
Yeah, that was all
great.
him. That was all him. The whole kitchen scene where he was busting
plates
dishes
over
on
his
his
head.
own head. You know he had a headache after that.
Well, okay, so how they did that is they took, and this was another commentary thing and in his book, is they took pre-fired clay plates and they bust over you like you don't even feel them. So that's how he was able to do so many. But that was pure Bruce Campbell right there. Him just flipping.
The way he reacts to it, yeah.
Yes. And then the whole where the hand comes
it's
down.
pulling the body because it sees the cleaver trying to get to the cleaver.
I think they said how they did that was they actually had like kind of like a rolling board, almost like kind of like a skateboard underneath him, and he was able to pull himself easily.
It would have been cooler if, you just had like a nail pop off or.
Well, they said that was the issue. They said the nails kept on popping off when they were trying to
fake
film.
one.
They should have left it in. That would have been great. And then as soon as he gets to the cleaver, pulls up with a knife, boom, right through the hand.
This goes back to the book and the commentary.
Last moment save.
That was a gelatin hand that they had to hurry up and film because the hands kept on melting because it was so hot in Wadesboro. They had it attached to his own hand, and he just stabbed right. He really stabbed it. That was just a gelatin hand that they had.
The amount of blood that splatters on his face from just one stab wound is...
Dude.
And then also, when you're transitioning between the scenes, his face is like so dirty in one scene, and then the next scene, it's like he went and took a shower and came back.
Yeah, it goes back and forth. What did Samantha say about the chainsaw?
Oh, when he went to start the chainsaw with his teeth, she's like, oh, like somebody could really do that. I was like, well, it's Bruce Campbell. It's Ash. Of course he could do it.
She had to sit through this movie twice. Because he watched it first in the living room, and then I came home from school, I do believe, and then I watched it.
Yeah.
And she said, "Oh God, not this stupid movie again."
Oh, that's so great. The whole thing with Bobby Joe. I mean, with Jake, that was her boyfriend, yelling Bobby Joe.
Bobby.
I couldn't tell you how many times me and my brother quoted that line of him saying Bobby Joe.
They really played up the redneckish of him.
We're not. I'm going as far as saying hillbilly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was so funny is Jake, the actor, how he got that part was I think he knew Sam Raimi or something, but he auditioned for it and literally he came in and they were like, "Yeah, we want you to be this hillbilly redneck, whatever you want to call him," and he was like, he pulled his teeth out. He's like, "Does this help?" Because he had full on teeth, but he, in the movie he's missing teeth, and they're like, "All right, you're hired." They instantly
Bobby Joe.
Yeah. Well, one of the parts I thought was hilarious when he's shooting it, when he's talking about the fight with his hand. Okay, after he dismembers his hand, and it was like watching an old school Tom and Jerry.
Yeah.
Because he had the shotgun leaned up on his stub, and he's like, "Oh, and they were taunting each other." Yeah. And he shoots the hand one time, then you see the hand come up and flip him a bird. It was funny, and
well, see, they had a mixture of stop motion animation for the hand, and then also was a real hand. It was a real person's hand. They had part of the floor because, like I said, this was a stage. They had part of the floor cut out, so when you see the hand walking, somewhat, it is a real person's hand walking.
Yeah.
But like when he flips that off, that is a real person's hand, literally just cut through the floor.
It comes up and say, "Oh, you remember me?"
Yeah. And
then you go right to where he's shooting all these holes with this old double barrel shotgun. And they say he accidentally shoots Bobby Joe. That would have killed her if she would have been in front of that door. But she comes in, she's got this little tiny scratch.
Enough that a Band-Aid could cover it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the only thing you could say is maybe he had some, what's the little pellets? Is that buckshot?
It's like, could have been rat shot in it, probably. We don't know.
Okay, he also pulls 2 shells out of that box and sticks them inside of his pocket on his shirt.
How many times did he reload it?
Oh,
Is
so
that where you're
2
going?
minutes. Yeah, that's where I'm going.
I mean, like he had an endless pocket.
Yeah, that pocket. Let me tell you.
And it was always what he played it off to the realization a few times where he had made that face like he forgot to reload.
yeah.
Because he'd shoot both barrels and be like, "Oh," and then he'd break it down and reload.
Well, I mean, that even goes back to the Dougie. Have you seen Army of Darkness?
I have not.
Okay, that's the third one of the
Yeah,
trilogy.
I actually
You got an Army of Darkness.
I looked into it a little bit after watching Evil Dead 2, and yeah, I'll have to watch it.
Yeah, well, because
It just-
spoiler, he gets transported back to
Yeah,
the medieval
just
times.
right
That's what
after
this.
the portal.
Yeah, it's
Him
it's
and his
great.
car.
He definitely in Army of Darkness. He definitely plays up the Three Stooges act even more in Army of Darkness. But going back to the whole shotgun thing, in Army of Darkness, he still has more shells and he still fires. I mean,
Yeah.
like he had 100 shells stuck in that pocket or something.
This is my boomstick. But he does change guns. It went from a double barrel to a lever action in Army of Darkness.
Oh no, well that was at the end. That was at the end of Army of Darkness.
Yeah, where he's in medieval times and he comes up with a lever action.
No, remember he's back in his shop. Oh, spoiler. He's back in his shop at the end. And he's in the S-Mart shop.
Oh, he's at S-Mart.
Yeah.
And then a Deadite breaks in.
So the scene where they turn that recorder on and it starts her dad's like reading from the book and everything, and it causes Henrietta to come back to life.
That was his confession. He confessed when he died. He buried her in the basement.
He buried her in the basement,
and then Ash is down there like looking around like holy crap.
When she comes out and starts screaming, the scream that Bruce Campbell makes is just ah! It's the funniest thing ever in that movie. And then they got to try to get him out. Oh god.
And then we got Hillbilly. What's his name? Jake.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he takes like 20 minutes to open the padlock because
there's literally
just
like a foot of room.
He could have easily cleared that.
He could have crawled through it.
But instead he's just open it, and just slamming the hatch up and down.
Yeah. So Henrietta was played by, like I told you guys earlier, was played by Ted Raimi, which is Sam Raimi's brother. He went through so much crap in this movie because he wore that suit, and I think he said he would literally lose 5 pounds a day.
I was gonna say how hot that would
from
be
sweating so much. There's we hadn't got there yet, but I'll go ahead and say it. The scene where Bruce is fighting Henrietta in the main part of the cabin, and she's floating. There's one scene where where Henrietta screams at him, and he turns. And did you guys notice the liquid that's coming out of the ear?
Is that sweat?
That's sweat.
Ugh.
I don't know if you guys noticed that.
It really seals in the flavor.
Yeah.
Right?
Bruce,
It's groovy.
Ted in the commentary, he said that literally every day he had like prosthetic feet or like rubber feet over his feet. He'd pull the foot off and pour out like a cup of sweat.
That's like
I mean,
very disgusting.
Yeah. And there's actually in that scene where we'll get to that scene.
Okay, the real question is, did he have to wear that suit, the same suit, every day? Because if he did,
yeah.
Well, they didn't have the budget to redo it.
That was the same suit every day.
ooh, imagine getting into that.
I think
That back on.
I think they said by the time that scene of him actually like fighting, like floating through the air, the scene of the suit was starting to break down because it was
doesn't
like
last.
late. Yeah, it was actually there's a we'll get there.
As you can tell, folks, it's very easy to get Nathan talking about this movie.
Every time you say Ash, he has a little twinkle in his eye.
Maybe.
Eyebrow raises slightly.
He's one of my favorite actors of all time. He's funny. I guess we can go ahead and move on to scene 3, unless you guys got anything else.
No, yeah.
Well, the one thing about it is when he's going back up the stairs, and right after they have announced that, what's her name? Henrietta is is in the base or the cellar,
Mm-hmm.
and she just grabs Ash's foot and just starts dragging him down the stairs.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. And then he kicks her in the face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the fight scenes in this were great. I mean, they were so comical at the same time, but it was just great. I mean,
It's stuff I feel like you want to get that aspect of a movie today.
Unless you really do it. Nobody really does that stuff anymore. Like that practical fight scenes like that.
oh well, I guess there is one thing that we totally glazed over. When he was fighting, when Linda's head bit him in the hand, and he had to go to the work shed to get the head off of his hand, and then you see where she's talking to him. She's like the possessed of her is talking to him, and how they did that. That's really her, the girl that played Linda. That's actually her. That was just a fake vice around her shoulders and everything. So she's really right there. They just put like a fake sliced neck prosthetic on her.
We kind of glazed over the fact that he pulls back the little curtain, and there's just a white outline of the chainsaw drawn on the wall.
And so he's never been to this cabin
Black Ops
before.
1 days.
Well, he's never been to this cabin. So how does he know there's a chainsaw right there?
Yeah, he just knows to look.
What? And he's so confused too. He's just like, "What? There should be a chainsaw here."
Yeah, he even says it. A chainsaw.
And then
Where's the buy button?
Well, she comes in with the chainsaw. Her body, her headless body comes in, and he starts fighting it, and then causes the chainsaw to cut herself in half. And then,
do we want to talk about how much blood was in this one?
Well,
that was a lot of juice.
Well, okay, so the
different types of blood.
Yeah,
too.
okay. I'll go ahead and explain that. So the reason there's so many different types of blood in this movie is because that was their only way of getting the rating that they did. If they went full on red for every single shot, it would have been an X rating, and they would have never been able to.
I was gonna say, because I mean, you got black, you got pink,
There's
you got
green.
red, green.
Yeah, that was the only way. Well, and the scene where Linda's head is in that vice, you see she's got one scene she doesn't, and then the next scene she's got black blood all over her mouth.
Yeah,
there was a deleted scene where she spits bile all over him, and that's why he has black blood on him. The very next scene. So that's the reason. But they cut it. I think they had to cut it for time or something like that.
That's one of those things where it's like he goes from perfectly clean to completely dirty.
Yeah. Well, okay. Why do I keep on forgetting things? When he's shooting the hand in the mouse hole, and he's shooting the walls, well, then all of a sudden you just see like the walls gush blood out towards him.
Oh yeah.
He finally clips it.
Yeah.
He thought he killed it.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, every hole that he had shot into just starts spewing.
Yeah. Well, the scene where the blood just comes right into his face, how they did that was he's actually leaning up against a board and then they just literally gush blood at him. Bruce Campbell said that he was sniffing out blood for like days after.
I was going to say he had to probably swallow a lot of that.
Yeah.
Or when he finally gets Linda's head in a vice, and then he takes a chainsaw to her head. Just straight down the middle, slowly
and
going down.
The outline of his chin was like huge. Well, okay, did you guys notice this? At the top of in the work shed, the top of the door, did you notice what was up there? It was Freddy Krueger's glove.
No, I didn't see it.
Yeah, it's hanging there.
I didn't see that.
I didn't see it.
Yeah. Well, when you guys watch the commentary, it's literally hanging there, and they did that kind of like a homage to Wes Craven, because Wes Craven loved Evil Dead, the first one, because in Nightmare on Elm Street, Evil Dead shows Nancy watching Evil Dead.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
I was going to tell Dougie the way the rating system worked back then. It was so hard. We talk about these movies. It was so hard for them to get a rating where they could even show it in the theater. Like RoboCop. You remember it got an X rating for that one guy getting shot up.
Yeah, they actually had to cut good chunks out of that
movie. A lot
of
it out because it was so violent.
And that still turned out to be a great movie.
Yeah,
I love RoboCop.
Oh yeah, but that's what we're saying. Like today, it'd almost be a G. or a TV 14.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
they show
changed
anything.
so
Yeah,
much.
they show anything now.
Well, you can see why when you got movies like, Saw, stuff like that, they're elevating the game.
All right, you guys want to move on to scene 3?
Sure.
All right. So scene 3, Ash tries to warn the others about the horrors outside, but Ed becomes possessed and attacks. Ash kills Ed. Bobby Joe flees in fear, gets taken by the woods. Jake throws the needed pages into the cellar and forces Ash and Annie to search for Bobby Joe. But Ash becomes possessed again. Annie accidentally stabs Jake, who's then dragged into the cellar by Henrietta and is killed. Evil Ash attacks Annie, but when he sees Linda's necklace, he returns to human form. The scene where Jake gets dragged into the cellar and Annie is trying to, so she's trying to help him. She's trying to pull his legs, but Henrietta's just grinding up Jake. I mean, and she's pulling his legs and all that blood. It's like orange blood that's just
This is the
squirting.
one I was talking about that looks pinkish.
Yeah. Yeah.
As soon as the front half of his body gets into the cellar,
Yeah.
it's just like out of nowhere.
It's just like
Boom.
a blender.
Yep.
Just squirting all over. And she's just screaming. It's so funny, even in the commentary, because like I said, they're making fun of that scene. They're like, I don't know why she just doesn't let go. After all that blood, just let
She's
go.
still pulling that one.
There's a chance. There's still a chance.
When I love Bruce Campbell's possession, when he's looking in the mirror and then himself.
Oh, yeah, and
Yeah.
it grabs him.
That was a great effect.
Yeah.
I mean, you could tell it was a different guy.
Yeah, that's how they
But-
did it.
It looked good.
Yeah, but see how they actually, if you notice, he's got like, when he's talking to himself, he's got like a little bit bigger chin, a little bit longer nose, a little bit bigger cheeks. They kind of made him like demon.
Yeah, just a little. Yeah.
little bit of demonish to him. But yeah, I love how he looks. And of course, if you can tell when he's walking outside, Annie's inside, he's just beating on the cabin because he can't see. So he's just and he's literally just falling around.
The thing I was talking about with the vines in the elevator from the new movie, this is where
Oh, when Bobby Joe.
Bobby Joe gets dragged into the woods by all the trees.
Yeah.
That was the crossover that I noticed first, because in the new one, the mom gets dragged into the elevator by vines.
Well, and see, this is kind of a Doug. Yeah, well, this is a, what's the word? Homage to the first one, because
Homage.
In the first one, a girl she's running in the woods, and she does, I'll go ahead and say it, she gets raped by the trees. Like, raped. They don't show anything.
What, in this new one?
No, in the original.
Oh.
They don't show anything, but
I am Groot.
it's very implied. That's weird.
Whoa. All right, Vin Diesel.
So in this one, they kind of like cleaned it up a little bit, where it just showed her actually just getting attacked by the woods and everything. And if you notice the scene where the vines are going up in her face, that was actually done in reverse. They had them in her face, and they pulled them out as they were filming. So they just had the film in reverse to make it look like they were going up in her face and stuff. But that was actually her being dragged through the woods, and then finally the woods taking her.
Where did she find this demonic dagger all of a sudden?
It was already at the...
Was it sitting on the desk?
Yes, because that was part of the Nobi's stuff they found with the book.
Because they never like, let's not talk about this 2-foot spine dagger.
Well, because when they did that flashback of the Nobis in that castle finding the Necronomicon and that dagger, well, it was already at the cabin, and that's actually another homage to the first one as well. Because the one in the first one is actually like a knife dagger.
Where did the axe come from?
I mean, Bruce, Ash could have just ran out to the work shed and grabbed it real quick or something. I mean,
I thought it was brilliant the way they made it. Like, he was this big coward all of a sudden.
yeah.
Stay here and fight, you coward. And she didn't even think the whole time, hey, I'm going to go get this axe. I'm about to chop this stuff up. Yeah.
Well, and see, that's another difference between the first one and the second one. Is in the first one, he wasn't a coward or anything. He was just like, I think he was just so stunned by everything that was happening that he really wasn't even the main character until 2/3 into the movie, because his best friend was the main character killing all the demons and everything, and then when he gets taken over or whatever, Bruce kind of steps in. So he's not a coward, he's just like freaked out by all of it. But in this one, he immediately takes action. He just what is it, Ed, when Ed becomes possessed and jumps up and starts throwing everybody, and I swear to you, Jake, when he threw Jake up into that light,
the bulb.
Yeah, it looks like he breaks his neck when he does it, but he's fine.
Samantha even said they even made a sound.
Yeah,
there was a sound like and Samantha's like, "Oh well, he's dead," and then he pops back up. I said, "Well, not yet."
The scene where Bruce comes in with the axe, starts chopping up Ed. Well, there was actually, you know what? I'll save it till later. I got some other stuff to talk about, but there was additional stuff to that scene of him attacking Ed and everything. And the scene where Annie's in the cabin by herself, Ash is outside, possessed, beating on the cabin. Well, Evil Ash knocks out Jake, and so he's gone at the moment. But then all of a sudden he pops into the back of the cabin, and she stabs him in the gut with that dagger. And it's the most ridiculous thing because he's the dumbest character in the movie.
He's the greatest character.
Well, he's physically the dumbest character in the movie. He causes so much problems for everybody.
I don't know.
He's got this.
You might have that backwards.
Dagger sticking at him, and she's trying to drag him in. And you see Ash come, possess Ash, and she's slowly dragging him, trying to get his feet.
Oh my
and
gosh!
She just slammed the door on him. I was like, you cannot see. He's
she
not
stops
inside.
like all his legs are still completely out the door, and slams the door on his legs. And pulls it like another foot. Yeah, slams it again.
She pulls him down that hallway, and then he's like, ah, and she's like, shut up. After he still has,
she looks like she dragged him like 100 yards just to get the door to shut.
And then, like I said, he gets pulled into the cellar. She just happens to drop him by the cellar
door
of all other places. Drops him by the cellar.
In this 3-story cabin.
Yeah.
There's a one spot.
Henrietta's looking out the crack. Ooh. Come on.
More
all
meat
that
for the
blood.
blender.
All that blood comes out. Ash, or Evil Ash, attacks her, knocks her out, like literally throws her against the wall and knocks her out. And then that stupid necklace. I'm sorry. That was just a stupid...
I mean, what was that? It looked like Mr. Peanut's monocle. What was that thing?
I think
magnifying glass.
I think they literally said they found it in the little town, whatever town that was. They found it like at a 5 and dime shop or something.
Yeah,
it's just like a little glass. It almost reminded me of like some kind of like little magnifying glass or something.
Yeah, like something somebody at the library would wear.
It was something. It was so ridiculous. But then he turns back. He turns back to human form. Oh yeah, and Jake throws the pages in the cellar like an idiot.
We're going outside. We're going to find Bobby Joe.
I'm going outside.
Bobby Joe. Final scene. Ash and Annie plan to retrieve pages from the cellar to defeat the demonic force. Ash attaches a chainsaw to his stump and crafts a shotgun, then faces Henrietta in the cellar. After killing her, Ash saves Annie from Henrietta's attack. As Annie reads the final pages to open a portal, the woods attack, and Ash's evil hand kills Annie. With her last breath, Annie completes the ritual, opening the portal, sucking in the evil forces, including Ash. Ash is transported back to medieval times, where he kills a demon and is hailed as a hero.
Okay, that was a lot. And something else, like I said, you made me think of it with when Bobby Joe gets the eyeball in her mouth.
Oh yeah. Man,
you made me think of it as soon as you said. I was like, oh yeah. And I didn't ever see her spit it out. And I was like, oh, well, she's possessed now. She just ate that eyeball. And smells like, no, she spit out.
Yeah, she spits it out.
She spits it out.
Yeah. Well, and you can see. I mean, it's another. I don't know. I just find all this movie magic, if you want to call it, charming. You see the eyeball when they show the close up of the eyeball flying through the air.
It's like on a string.
Yeah, it's on a string.
You see the
ret
supposed to be the veins
Yeah,
sticking out of her
yeah.
mouth. So,
Yeah. Yeah, she definitely spits it back out.
How many times did Annie, how many times did she die while she was reciting the ritual? Because it seems like she just like collapses and comes back and like collapses and comes back. Like, why does it take her so long? I guess just for dramatic effect, but it seemed like she would lay her head down and close her eyes like, ugh, and then wake back up and
Well-
I got a little bit more to read.
Well, Doug, yeah, I'd like to see how you are able to read some
the
stuff.
dagger was not that far in her back. I mean,
Oh, okay. So they showed this at near the beginning too, or not near the beginning. I totally forgot about this. But the hand, the scene going back to the scene 3 where Bobby Joe runs out, and she's like to Jake, why are you squeezing my hand so tight?
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like, I'm not holding
your hand.
And she
Ash's
has
hand.
That's an animatronic hand. That's an act. I mean, if you notice, it looks huge, but that was an actual animatronic hand they built, that K&B built for them. And then they use it again when the hand stabs her in the back.
It's the hand of Ash Williams. It has so much power.
And that hand comes back in Ash vs. Evil Dead. He goes back to the cabin trying to stop all the demon force, and the hand is still there. Tries to kill him again.
I don't want to gloss over the I guess you would call it the suit up montage.
Yeah.
most iconic scene.
Where he's like, he rigs everything up
Yeah.
with, he's got the leather strap, and all this is done in 30 seconds, but he makes a bracket to where he can start the chainsaw every time's one pull wonder, the starting chainsaw.
I love how he's like able to solder. How'd you able to solder?
How'd you do this? One-handed. Yeah.
And he's able to reconfigure a chainsaw so he can fit it onto his stump.
Just
Yeah.
makes the entire inside of where the chain would be hollow. And then cuts off the front of the
shotgun off with his chainsaw.
Oh, you just like that tiny little spark.
Yeah.
And he has to tap it. Do you notice?
Yeah.
He has to tap it to make it fall. Like, okay, we're still at one cut. And then he's automatically got the holster on his back
for the shotgun.
Yeah.
And then he raises the eyebrow. I think this is how you know it's the peak of the movie, because the eyebrow was raised the most right here, as he says groovy.
In this final scene, after she's Henrietta busts out, he's fighting her. He fights her down in the cellar first. Henrietta's just kicking his ass. Honestly, just beats him up. And then she jumps out. Okay, so the scene where she's floating through the air and screaming and grabbing Annie. Well, that scene I was telling you where she screams and the liquid comes out. Well, you can also see when she's spinning, you can see Ted Raimi's like underwear because the suit is splitting like right in the butt.
I didn't say that.
It's so quick, but you can see it splitting like as she's like spinning and stuff. And then she funny enough, she grows a long neck and starts sounding like a monkey.
It's like she goes from Henrietta to what would you call that? What would you classify that as? I mean, what?
It was like a snake mixed with a monkey, mixed with a demon.
Yeah.
Flying around.
Well, after he chops her head off and it's on the floor and, he's like, I'll swallow your soul. I'll swallow your soul. And then he steps on the head and says, eat this.
Swallow this.
Swallow this.
Yeah.
Shotgun to the face.
That was an actual explosion. They had a prosthetic foot sitting on a giant head. Not giant, but like bigger than our heads. And they actually put dynamite and everything in and blew it up. And then the whole the scene where she's saying the passage, and then the woods start attacking the cabin. And if you notice, all the trees are attacking. Of course, that's all miniatures right there. And then what they called was I believe they called it a pumpkin head or an apple head, comes in the door.
Yeah.
And grabs Ash. And then he takes that chainsaw right into the eye.
Right into the eye.
Just,
it was cool looking. I don't know. I guess... Would you call? I guess the way it was shaped, kind of like pumpkin-esque.
I think I was trying to think what they actually called it, because like they actually had a term for it. I think it was like Applehead or something. But I hate
Looking
that
over. This just made me think of it, but a Slimer from Ghostbusters.
Yeah, yeah.
Very similar.
Yeah, very similar.
Just needs sharper teeth.
Yeah, just a different color.
When then he gets rid of that thing, it gets sucked into the portal. She's able to open the portal, but then she gets stabbed. And that scene where did you guys notice where he got a gray streak in his hair?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
They basically said that was just like it scared him to death seeing that apple head.
The apple head in there, because you look at it and he's like, oh.
Yeah, well, and it kills the flowers beside it, so it's like it scared him, making him age. He gets transported back to, or he gets sucked into the portal, and they said did you guys notice the string that he was on as he was flying through the air? Did you see it?
No,
I didn't see it.
Oh, I guess I noticed all this stuff because I've seen it 100 times. But yeah, he's literally on a rope as he's flying through the air, and you could see it in the movie. He goes back to the medieval times.
And his car.
Yeah. Doug, what kind of car is that?
It's an Oldsmobile. I think it's an old Oldsmobile Delta.
I think they said that that Oldsmobile has actually been in every one of Sam Raimi's movies except for Quick and the Dead. He's put it in every one of them.
That would have been hard to put it into that one.
That car, it's just great.
Well, and see, they said, because I remember reading Bruce Campbell's book, and they said that Sam will not let that car go. He has fixed that car so many times, replaced it. I think he said literally the only thing that's left is the shell of the car, because they've had to replaced everything on that car.
Well, Bruce does his best to destroy it in Army of Darkness. I'll say it that way. What he turns it into.
So he goes back to the medieval times, and what's so funny is I will go ahead and tell you, Dougie, that let's see, Army of Darkness does not pick up directly where this leaves off. It kind of does, but
it doesn't look the same.
No, it doesn't look the same, because they it was I think 5 years later when they made Army of Darkness or something like that,
and just like it looked like they found some cosplayers. Is that what they did?
I think they said they found extras in town and paid them to be in the movie, and they probably used everybody that was part of the movie as extras
in that town. Yeah,
in the scene where there's a little guy running down the hill in armor, that's Ted Raimi, and then the guy that lifts up his helmet, that's Sam Raimi, the director. It was so funny because in the commentary he says, "Yeah, my wife said never be in a movie again because my acting was terrible."
He stayed behind the camera. He does a good job.
You guys got anything else for this scene? I'm sure I've skipped over stuff.
It's too much go on to hit every single point. We'd be here for 2 days.
Yeah. Doug, you got anything else?
There's only one more scene that I thought was
spit it out.
So corny that it added a nice little extra piece to the movie, but when Nobi comes back as a ghost.
Yes, when that totally slipped my mind. Yeah, when they walk into it was before Bobby Joe freaks out and runs out of the cabin. They get a message or vision from Nobi, and I guess he's in the other realm.
Spirit realm. It's
Spirit
very Jor-El from the first Superman-esque. That made me. First thing I thought of when I saw it, I was like, oh, okay.
Well, and it almost looked like the way they had his makeup. It looked like the demon in Exorcist. Do you remember the way the demon looked in Exorcist?
Yeah.
Doug, I'm sure you probably haven't seen Exorcist, have you?
I have not, but I've seen the new one.
Okay. The makeup was very similar, like black around the eyes and white face,
They
like that.
accentuated the.
Well, if you're just talking about like after the girl in the movie gets possessed, yeah, I know what that looks like.
No, there's a demon. They should actually show the demon just for like 1 second.
Oh.
You know, we didn't say. I thought about that too. We didn't say anything about when Ash went into the cellar to get the pages.
Yeah.
I mean, come.
Well, and you see
All the pipe work. I mean, he all of a sudden went to the tunnel in Goonies. Well, all the pipe work was down, and he find like random. What'd she do? Like randomly get the page. I'm gonna put some over here. I'm gonna put some over here. Supposedly they're in like a 6x8 cellar.
why is there so many pipes for that little cabin?
Turn into a
I mean, there's possibly 2 sinks. There's
Where?
1 toilet. I mean, why is there so many
All of a
pipes?
sudden there's pipe everywhere, and then there's a whole nother room.
Yeah.
He has to go into.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Doug. Well, he finds Jake's body. It's literally just a skeleton with his overalls.
Overall.
Yeah, and it scares him. He's just, oh!
While you're on topic of that, when it pans from like, I think it's from the kitchen to like the living room kind of area, there's like that hole in the wall, and it's just like a tunnel, and then it takes a turn.
Oh, when he goes behind, he goes, but there's a like a secret passage where he goes behind the wall for some weird reason. Why would a cabin have that? But
It's like
this cabin is
like
so much bigger.
Oh yeah,
It's like a 1 foot gap, and you can see into
you
the
see him
back.
walking through it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, there's all these places, like secret passages everywhere in this thing.
Yeah, they definitely built that cabin 10 times bigger than it actually was on the outside. Guys, got anything else? Let's see.
No.
So I'm going to go ahead and read trivia because I'm an idiot and I forgot to read trivia when I was supposed to do all the facts and stuff.
Go right into our did not know that section.
Okay, here's some trivia. Stephen King was such a huge fan of The Evil Dead that he convinced producer Dino De Laurentiis over dinner, who was producing King's Maximum Overdrive at the time, to have production company DEG finance Evil Dead 2.
Okay. You don't want to glaze over what Stephen King was doing to himself during the time he was filming Maximum Overdrive.
What, cocaine?
Oh, well, yeah. He might have been indulging a lot in that.
Yeah, because they said that's literally all. He was high on coke the whole time he was directing Maximum Overdrive.
And here he is, getting another movie financed.
Yeah.
He's got another one that they're coming out with now. The Monkey.
Oh, I think I've heard about that.
Yeah, I just saw the trailer for that yesterday.
A Stephen King movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Monkey.
It's a monkey that it's like possessed.
It's Congo.
We'll put that on the list eventually to do. So during the scene where the severed head of Linda's bites Ash's hand, Bruce Campbell says the single line "work shed." I don't know if you remember because he was on the floor when he said it. The line was later redubbed in post-production due to the quality of the audio, giving it a strange, slightly disproportionate sound to the audio. 9 years later, while filming his cameo in Escape from L.A. Have you seen Escape from L.A., Dougie? Okay. Watch Escape from New York first, and then you'll appreciate Escape from L.A.
You'll be a Snake Plissken fan.
Yeah.
That one.
Bruce Campbell just makes a small appearance in it as a plastic surgeon doctor.
He's a Surgeon General.
Surgeon General.
Plastic Surgeon General of L.A.
The first thing Kurt Russell says to Bruce Campbell on the set was jokingly, "Say work shed." Because it sounds so weird, because you can definitely tell he is not saying work shed when he says work shed. Because he literally just looks back. Work shed. It's not. He's not even saying it.
Well, I mean, how long? That was something funny too. It's very comical about how long he's fighting this hand
That's true.
off of. or he's fighting her head off his hand. I mean, he's slamming it. Yeah. He's slapping the head into everything.
Oh, it's so great. So the large demonic head Ash battles in the climax of the film, which the crew nicknamed Rotten Applehead, was too large and cumbersome for the crew to carry back to California. So it was left in North Carolina and soon disappeared. Its whereabouts were unknown for a number of years until it was found in a Halloween haunted house attraction just outside the original shooting location of Wadesboro, North Carolina.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, can you imagine seeing that thing in like person?
Randomly walking. Like, ah! Okay.
Many scenes were deleted from the movie, and according to official reports, all of them and original version of the movie are lost. Some of these scenes are Henrietta is in her rocking chair. So you remember the scene where Nobi is like, he's recording and he's writing stuff down.
Yeah.
And you see her rocking in the background. While the professor reads the incantations, her demonic eyes are revealed in the cabin light. Like she all of a sudden just, her eyes just go white. But they had to cut it. I think they said in the commentary, they said it looked terrible. So they were like, yeah, let's not go with that. Linda's severed head throwing up black bile, I guess I mentioned some of this earlier, on Ash when trapped in the vice, which is why black slime suddenly appears around her mouth in the final scene. Linda's severed head extending his long snake-like tongue. Oh yeah, this was another. So basically, there's a deleted scene where her tongue comes out and tries to go into his mouth while he's standing there, and they said it just looked awful.
Give me some sugar, baby.
It was, I think they used like stop motion to do it, and it said it looked awful. So
it was too groovy.
Yeah,
yeah.
An extended take of blood flood with green and yellow blood. An extended sequence of the this is just all, like I said, deleted scenes. So I'm just reading this. Extended sequence of the half-headed Ed. Okay, so this is when Ed's getting chopped up by Bruce, but all you see is what Ed can see. There's additional footage of the body pieces flopping, and you can still see Ed. His head is chopped in half,
yeah,
and it's still talking, but all the body pieces are flopping in the air and stuff. But I've seen the footage of that actually. That it just looked terrible.
Took weird, yeah.
A possessed Ash eating a squirrel as he runs after Annie. And there is footage of that. Where
that would have been pretty funny. That would have been pretty funny. And I wonder if I had like a little squeaking.
Well, like I said, when I give you guys the DVD, watch all the bonus footage. It's really good. Ash demonic face morphing back to normal after taking his dad's girlfriend's necklace. So I guess the scene where they zoom up to his eye.
He's holding it. The necklace?
Yeah. They actually show his face going back to normal, but I guess it just looked too bad. Fans of the movie did manage to find a very rare 36-minute work print of the film, which only has very early versions of opening and ending scenes with a few extra shots, including an old rare TV version of the movie with many alternate and extended scenes, but unfortunately doesn't include all the famous deleted scenes. So unfortunately, that's what sucks is that a lot
back
of that
then,
stuff's just gone.
Yeah,
because it's actually film. I mean,
and it degrades over time.
Yeah. All right, so let's do our category.
Did not know that.
Bruce Campbell completely improvised the scene where he fights his possessed hand in the kitchen of the cabin. Sam Raimi praised his performance and used the first take for the film. So that whole scene where he's flipping upside down and beating himself up, breaking stuff, that was all improvised by Bruce Campbell. So the scene where he cuts the shotgun in half, that smoke and everything, it says is actually tobacco smoke. It says Sam Raimi rigged tubing to the back of the chainsaw, hid off camera, and blew cigarette smoke through the tube to create the effect.
That's cool.
The actors were completely blind when they had to wear opaque contact lenses when they were playing possessed versions of their character. The only way they knew how and where to move was through rigorous rehearsals.
like you said, they had to memorize everywhere they were. I couldn't imagine even putting a plane contact in my eye, let alone a real piece of glass that just covered your eye.
Well, that's the way contact lenses were back then. They were not soft like they are now. They were thick glass contact lenses.
And these had to cover their entire eye.
Like there wasn't even like a little tiny hole poked in them or anything. It was just white.
Ugh, imagine if they got one that was, had a slight crack in it or something.
Ooh.
Jeez.
Let's not go there. All right. Dougie, I'm going to start with you. What is your favorite / number one quote in the movie?
Groovy.
Groovy? All right.
It's the best part of the entire movie. The suit up scene, just everything about it's great.
Doug?
Like the number one quote?
Quote? Well, yeah. What's your number one favorite quote? Whatever.
I always laugh when he's going out hollering Bobby Joe. Bobby Joe! I mean, that's great. That's a good one.
Yeah. There's so many good ones. But I think I am going to go with Bobby Joe. That one just gets me every time.
And he just keeps yelling at you. You're like, okay, shut up, dude.
Well, it's the fact that they go a close up of his face when he says it too.
Yeah.
He's missing teeth, and it's just
mouth
great.
is just slightly crooked.
Yeah. All right, Dougie, what's the best part of the movie for you?
When Ash takes the chainsaw to Linda's head.
Okay.
I think out of everything that happens in the movie, the one that's like close with that is the chase scene with the Oldsmobile.
Mm-hmm.
That one's pretty good too.
Yeah.
He comes flying out of the windshield.
Yeah.
Those are my top two.
Okay. Doug?
My
Best part?
my best part of the movie is when he starts the chainsaw with his teeth to cut his own hand off. Yeah. That was awesome.
That's a great one. Well, I'm gonna say the groovy scene where they make the chainsaw and he cuts off the
whole suit up
the whole suit up montage. I think that's my favorite. Well, there's some things that come close to it, but I think that's my favorite part of the movie. Dougie, what about favorite character?
Jake. You can't beat Hillbilly. I mean, there is no beating that.
Yeah. Doug, favorite character?
I knew he was going to say that. I knew he was going to say Jake was his favorite. It's hard to pick one single favorite person because they all had like shining moments there. I have to go Ash.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to. He's awesome. Especially, I'd say Ash in the last 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when Ash was going crazy, that was great, though.
Yeah.
When he was, like, laughing and jumping up and down, and the deer head was talking to him. I mean, that was good, too. But his body, the way he acted with his body was great.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna actually go with Ash as well. I love Jake.
Surprise!
I mean, come
Jake
on,
was great.
You can't go wrong with Bruce Campbell as Ash. He just, I mean, he's a slight coward sometimes, but then when it comes to taking care of business, he's all
like
in.
he flips a switch, He flips a switch in his head where he's like, "We got to get out of here."
I mean, he's a slight idiot, but
Yeah.
he's like some things he's smart at doing, but then he just. I mean, come on, you can't go wrong with Ash.
He's definitely. You say he's smart at things like.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody else that could figure out how to mount a chainsaw to a nub that doesn't bleed. Let's just put a little bit of burlap on here. We're good to go.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's great.
I do have one thing for
go for it.
An honorable mention for favorite scene is Linda's death with the shovel.
Oh yeah.
That is just, it's the best.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you can't go wrong with that. That was great. I mean, just Well, and actually, the funny thing, we didn't even mention when she was when she came back to life and she was dancing.
Oh man,
The ballerina.
the ballerinas.
it was kind of disturbing. What about when she backed up on the branch?
Yeah.
I was like, man, they could have done some things with. Oh no, don't.
Oh.
I mean,
Well, and see, I think that was another part of Ash kind of going crazy a little bit too. I don't know if necessarily that was happening.
or he was seeing it happen.
Yeah, because if you notice in the next scene when she's like beating his head against the window, he wakes up. He's in the rocking chair and he wakes up. So I don't know if that was the cabin. I know it was messing with him, but it's just like I don't know if that was actually happening. But
in his mind, yeah.
But then all of a sudden her head drops from the ceiling in his lap. And actually, I didn't even mention this, how they did that. That was actually her head when he was holding her. That was fake legs that were on her shoulders. So they just had hands right there.
I mean, it's smart how they figured it out,
Yeah.
and they could just play with the camera enough to make everything look to scale.
Yeah.
When it was cool.
Yeah, definitely. All right. You guys got anything else? We're going to give our rating. Dougie, what do you give this movie? You want to give your final thoughts and give a rating out of 5?
How many popcorn buckets?
Yeah, how many popcorn buckets?
I think for the time that it was in and just the iconic lines that come from this movie, the mass amount of gore that they added in and everybody's acting throughout. I mean, I think it's a 4 popcorn buckets out of 5.
Okay. Yeah.
It could be better, but it's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. Doug?
It definitely has its genre, which it's kind of created its own genre from these series of movies. They're fun. They're definitely fun, but I wouldn't think of it as that high. But that's cool that you appreciate what it is.
Yeah.
I would say probably like 2 3/4.
Okay.
That's where I'm at on it.
Okay. So, like I told you guys, I've seen this movie 100 times. I clearly have several different editions of this movie. I've bought it on DVD. I've bought it on Blu-ray. I used to have it on VHS. I need to get it on VHS again. I don't have it. I was told not to buy the 4K because the 4K is so crystal clear on this movie that you can see everything, what's wrong
Every
with
little
this
flaw.
movie. Yeah, every flaw, and it pulls you out of the movie so far where the movie is just terrible. And so I don't even want to get it on 4K. I'm happy with my grainy DVD that I have.
Oh yeah, I would agree with that.
I would even watch it on VHS. And Dougie, I was telling Doug this, that I think that edition on Amazon or on Prime, I think that's straight from the VHS because it's so grainy that it's just, to me, it does not look the greatest.
But I mean, I think that's the way it should be.
Yeah,
that's the way you should see
I'm
it.
not complaining about it, but just like it's like I think my DVD looks better than that.
It's like cleaned it up more.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, it's not perfect looking, but it's just like I've watched it on Blu-ray and it does look a little bit better. But yeah, I'm just gonna watch my DVD.
It's the way that movie, like you were saying, should just be watched because it's one of those things. There's so many different aspects to it, and it all just plays into the movie's role.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to watch it in 4K, and I would feel like you're robbing something from their work that it took them so hard to try to hide everything or make things look so good.
Yeah,
you don't want to look behind the curtain, so to speak.
Yeah. So, on that note, I'm gonna give this movie a 5 out of 5.
Surprise, surprise. Somebody's popcorn's popcorn.
Jeez.
I love this movie so much. I'm not saying it's a perfect movie, but the fact that it entertains me so much. I'm laughing out loud with the movie. Yeah, it's corny, it's ridiculous, but I am so entertained by this movie that I have to give it a 5 out of 5. I mean, it literally is. I'll go ahead and say it is probably my favorite movie of all time. But like I said, Cena.
Well, you're not alone. You're not alone.
Yeah.
A lot of people feel that.
So yeah, I'm gonna definitely give it a 5 out of 5. Dougie, what did you say? A 4?
A 4, yeah.
And Doug, you said a
2 3/4.
So it came down to a 3.91, so almost a 4.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
You guys got anything else? No?
No, I'm good.
Speak up.
Don't read from the book.
All right, so that's all for today's episode, folks. We hope you enjoyed our journey into the woods of 1987's Evil Dead 2. Join us next time on Video Rental as we tackle another classic movie. Until then, stay cinematic and remember, Dead by Dawn, Dead by Dawn.